Missing for 3 weeks. The body of a pregnant Chicago woman now found, and police say she was murdered.
40-year-old Bilian Fang was last seen in Chicago on October 9th. Cook County prosecutors say that the man that she had been dating and the father of her unborn child,
46-year-old Yaer Shen,
was with her that day. Shen owns the Lincolnwood restaurant where Bilian worked. On the night of October 9th, Bilian left work and went to the home that Shen shared with his ex-wife and their children. Bilian and Shen got into an argument about money, and after that, Shen went back into his house. Bilian sat on his front porch crying, and his ex-wife saw her. His ex-wife didn't know that they were dating or that she was carrying his child. She went in and told him, "Hey, there's a woman crying on our porch." He came back out, took her to his car, and while they were walking to his car, Bilian used his phone to call her 14-year-old daughter. It was about 10:50 at that point, 10:50 p.m. Prosecutors say that she had to use Shen's phone because he had broken her phone after an argument. And I am unclear on whether or not that was the argument that they had just had or if that was a previous argument. But he broke her phone in anger after an argument. That's a red flag. Bilian asked her daughter if she could ask a friend to pick her up at the corner of 36th and California, but when he got there, she wasn't there. So he called the daughter called her again, and Shen told the daughter that Bilian could go if she wanted to. She then called her daughter back and asked the friend to come and pick her up again at 36th and California. Her daughter told prosecutors later that she could hear Shen in the background arguing with her mother. There were in this case, 2 different houses that news crews had shown as his house, and I don't know that either one of them are his house. I can show you both of the houses that they showed. Neither one of those are the address that's listed for him, and the address that's listed for him didn't show a house. It showed somebody else's house. It didn't show the house for his address. As the couple drove around, their argument turned physical when Bilian smacked him in the face. And in response to getting smacked in the face, he used both hands to strangle her. He let go briefly when he saw that she was unconscious, but then he saw that she had visible bruising and her face was swollen, and he was afraid that she was going to report him. So then he started strangling her again, this time until she was unconscious and not breathing. Then he panicked, tried to revive her with CPR. That didn't work. Police used cell phone data and surveillance video footage to track Shen's movements on October 9th. It showed him driving on the Stevenson Expressway before driving to a soccer field near Morton College, where he sat in the parking lot for about 45 minutes before driving to the Stickney Water Reclamation Plant. There he covered her body with branches and threw her pink jacket into a nearby wooded area. And police speculate, if I understand correctly, that he strangled her to death while they were parked and arguing by that soccer field for that 45-minute period of time. Bilian's daughter called her again sometime before midnight, but nobody answered. She called multiple times the next day to ask Shen where her mother was when she hadn't returned, and he told her reportedly to be patient. I'm not sure what he was telling her to be patient for, but her family reported her as missing on October 10th and informed police that she had been last seen with Shen and that she was pregnant with his baby. At first, police asked for the public to help find Bilian, but that was before they got a hold of cell phone data and they were able to pinpoint exactly where he had been. And then they were able to find her body pretty easily. He had hidden her in thick vegetation, and then her pink jacket was hanging from a branch in a wooded area at the water reclamation area. Inside of the jacket pockets was her ID, her keys, money, and a handwritten note from Shen.
I'm sorry, I'm not a good person. I made you suffer. I got scammed. I know it is irresponsible for me to leave you. I hope we don't meet in another life. Signed, Yaer Shen.
Apparently, burrs that were found on her body were also found on the driver's side floorboard of Shen's car. The autopsy found that Bilian's cause of death was blunt force trauma and strangulation. It said multiple blunt force traumas, so he beat her, and strangulation, and her death was ruled a homicide. A separate autopsy was done on the baby, and that was determined to be a homicide also because it was determined that at 37 weeks that child could have lived even if she had died had it been born at that time. So essentially he let it die too inside of her. Police apprehended Shen at his home, and then with a warrant they were able to search his home, and they found a letter that was written to his ex-wife underneath the mattress of his bed.
Summarized from Cantonese, quote, "In the heat of the moment, I did something wrong. I'm regretful in that in the heat of the moment, I caused a big mistake."
And I'm curious, news media just assumed that that meant the murder, and it very well might have, but it could have also meant the baby. Maybe he was trying to get rid of that. It could go either way, especially where his ex-wife didn't know about it yet. I don't know. Shen was arrested on November 1st, and he admitted to detectives in Cantonese that he had strangled Bilian to death, knowing that she was pregnant, and then he hid her body. Detectives found another note on him. This guy's a real writer. This was in his wallet. Said that he had done very bad things. He wanted to kill himself but couldn't do it, and he was afraid of going to prison.
That overwhelming evidence is why a judge denied bond for him today. Shen will stand trial on November 22nd, facing felony charges of first-degree murder, intentional homicide of an unborn child, and concealment of homicidal death, facing a mandatory life sentence if convicted.
With almost no additional information about the couple to be able to tell you anything individually, I can't really do a history. I tried to find them both. They're apparently both fairly private people, so I just wasn't able to do that. I can tell you, though, that unlike the murder that we looked at last week, Shen had no criminal record. And I can tell you that there was another intimate partner homicide that happened in this general area about a month before this one did. So in place of being able to look at all kinds of different red flags, since we don't have history of this couple or history on him, let's look at some different intimate partner homicide red flags. 1, do you feel like you're in danger with him or her? If you feel like your life is in danger, that's the number 1 red flag, the number 1 sign that you are in danger. 2, was he abused or did he witness abuse as a child? 3, does he believe that he's above the law or that rules and laws don't apply to him? He's smarter than the law, something along those lines. 4, does he believe that he's smarter or more clever than most people? 5, does he have a criminal record or criminal history of violence towards people or animals or destruction of property? 6, does he have a drug or alcohol addiction? Does he use drugs or alcohol as an excuse for violent behavior? Is he controlling? Does he respect boundaries, people or places? That's why destruction of property or even trespassing fall into this category. It says that they don't respect people, places, laws. They're not going to respect you either. Does he break things when he's angry? Does he use intimidating behavior when he's angry, like slamming doors or punching walls? Is he physically abusive towards you? Does he seem to get a lot of his identity from you? Bilian leaves behind her daughter, who is 14, and son, who is 11. Both of her parents are retired and live in Chicago. She will be missed. If you're concerned that your life is in danger with your partner or your ex, definitely call the National Domestic Violence Hotline. They can get you in touch with resources locally wherever you're located. Until I see you again, please stay safe.